government in every sector has failed to do that. In the military, in the intelligence community, and in law enforcement. This is catastrophic failure, and it's the reason we lost wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it's the reason we are losing right now at home, and yet most Americans are unaware of how the threat actually is tied together and how bad the threat actually is. And that's what we're talking about right now. The totality of the threat. So we see that our enemies are telling us the reason that they're doing what they're doing. Osama bin Laden, in a letter to the Taliban, said this: I do not need to tell you that this sacred struggle should continue until holy places of Muslims are liberated from the occupation of non-Muslims and the Islamic Sharia is enforced on the land of God. Obviously, for the enforcement of Sharia, it is essential for all Muslims that they should establish an Islamic system on the basis of teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. So Osama bin Laden says what Al-Qaeda is after is a caliphate under Sharia, an Islamic state under Islamic law across the entire planet. That's why they're waging jihad. What does ISIS say? Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the current caliph, declared caliph of the caliphate, which is any area under which they have control, where Sharia is the law of the land. Actually, that's happening in the world right now. Why does he say he's fighting? Why does he say ISIS is fighting? Why do the ISIS fighters say they're fighting? Well, everybody has seen it all over the news. They're fighting to establish a caliphate under Sharia law. What about the Muslim Brotherhood, founded in 1928 for one purpose? What's that purpose? Well, all we have to do is look at their founding documents. Their bylaws, printed in English on their website, specifically says this: the Muslim Brotherhood is an international Muslim body which seeks to establish Allah's law in the land. So, the Muslim Brotherhood says that they were created to establish Sharia, Allah's law, in the land. And they say specifically that means over the entire earth. But they go a step farther. They say the Islamic nation must be fully prepared to fight the tyrants and the enemies of Allah as a prelude to establishing an Islamic state. So the Muslim Brotherhood says that they're willing to, and it is necessary to, fight their enemies in order to establish an Islamic state under Sharia. The Muslim Brotherhood has the exact same objective as Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and oh, by the way, Hamas, Hezbollah, Abu Sayyaf, Boko Haram, and all of the other jihadi organizations in the world. Why is that important? Well, I have to ask a question. Should an organization that has the same objective as ISIS and Al-Qaeda be allowed to work with our U.S. government? Should that organization be the liaison between the U.S. federal government and the Muslim population in America? And more importantly, should the leaders of an organization that follow this doctrine be the only Muslims who advise our leaders in our government? The answer is obviously no, except exclusively they are the only ones doing so.